Happy Friday to you. It's Friday. I'm excited. I'm Jyn Yates, the Generator. You're locked on to LRS102.com. We are broadcasting live from the Launch Louisville studio at 816 East Broadway, and I'm so pumped. I've got Allison Cross up in the studio.
What it is. What's up, y'all?
What it is, man. I'm so excited to have you in here because we've been friends for a long time. We've actually done a lot of work together in the past, and you just did helped with She Castle, which thank you very much for your your time and dedication.
For the invite.
Absolutely. And you do all kinds of cool stuff around town, so I thought it'd be really awesome to have you up in the studios because you're always busy. I see you everywhere. Literally, if I'm just venturing out to Nulu, I see you. If I'm venturing out the Highlands, I run into you. You know, you're just always somewhere.
Well, I live in the Highlands now.
Yeah.
We moved here about 6 months ago, so
okay.
At this point, that's
Are you digging the Highlands?
I am digging it.
Okay.
I spend all my weekday up in the Highlands, but I'm telling you, the weekends is starting to try to get away from the neighborhood.
Oh, I hear you. Well, I did the same thing for a long time. I was very thankful that I wasn't from here, although I lived in the Highlands and I had family out of town like you.
Yep.
That I could just hop in a car and say adios Highlands.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. But if it's probably 10 to 1 a.m. on a weekend and I don't have a project going on or a band gig, then you're probably going to see me up in the Highlands.
Right. Just walk down between the Speedway and
the Speedway. Yeah, right there at that corner. That's my corner. Yeah.
Between that and
like I work a street corner. Right. It sounded like I worked a street corner.
Between that and Chill Bar, I'm like
Chill
Big
Bar's,
Bar.
Yeah, Big Bar, Chill Bar. They're my jams, man.
Between Chill and Big, that's where I'm like probably pacing.
Yeah, and I occasionally will venture up to Tap Room, but I generally stick in between Eastern Parkway and Grinstead on the Highland Strip, and I just love to walk that strip. Yep. Yeah, there's just something magical about that place.
There's life out there.
I found the Highlands when I was like 16, and I was up here with a friend going to the Kentucky State Fair, and we drove down Bardstown Road, and I was like, wow, this place looks really cool. And I remember Grateful Threads. I don't know if you remember that. It used to be a head shop on Bardstown Road, yeah. And so I remembered that spot, and then skip to when I was 21, they moved me here for work. And it took me a couple years to find the Highlands. And then I found it and was like, hey, this is that spot that I thought was so cool. And then I moved. And a few years here and there I've been out. When I dated people, I was somewhere else, But I always come back to the Highlands. And I'm back around now, too.
Yeah, I have a similar come and go type thing. Before I say any of this, let me say a shout out to the beautiful souls that we've lost.
Oh, man, yeah.
Recently and in the past, because the first person that brought me to the Highlands is someone that's I met through music school. Okay. Who's not with us any longer.
Yeah. And we've had a bunch of tough losses
the music community here goes through every community does.
Yeah. But, man, we do have a pretty cool music community here. And, shout out to Sue Riley, who we just lost, who was a friend of mine. I was in several bands with her over the years and even lived with her last year. Yeah, we just lost her. Before that was Dave Hoffenset, and then before that, I lost my Beverly McClellan, which was why we did She Castle. So I'm sure you've lost a lot of people in your past,
Yeah.
It's always tough.
And my friends, parents and siblings and, everybody's just kind of buckling together and going through it right now. So. Yeah.
Man, I had a lot of death when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm almost immune to it. You know what I mean? I mean, you're never immune to it. I still I'll lie. Last night I was lying in bed crying, crying myself to sleep because of all of it. But it's weird how it hits you at different times. You know what I mean? And I do feel like it's a little bit more special when you lose somebody that you played music with, because there's that intimate bond that you have. It's like you're in a relationship without sleeping together, basically. You know what I mean? It's that intense.
I love being able to pull the vibe back, through the music and the people that come around in the circles and bring their spirit.
And by the way,
really a lovely thing to be a part of.
I definitely want to give a shout out. The Troubadours of Divine Bliss called me, and Wrap Me in Love. Robbie Bartlett called me, Wrap Me in Love. Elaine Hartwick, who I produced She Castle with, Wrap Me in Love. All these musicians. Angie Hopperton, I want to give a shout out to her.
Shout out to Angie.
We both love Angie.
You, Angie.
In fact, we might have met through Angie. I can't remember.
Yeah, probably so.
I think we did.
Actually, you suggested me as a trombone player.
That's right. That's right.
For one of the shows.
Yeah.
Angie hired me. So
cool.
like, shout out to you and Angie.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And shout out to Angie, who's definitely, we want to wrap her in love right now.
Many, many loves.
Yeah. So anyway, on a more happier note, I'm excited to have you in the studio. And you are a music therapist, and you're a trombonist, which I love. And you're also an awesome DJ.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there anything else that I've left out?
I dabble in visual art.
Okay. You doubled in visual art? I didn't even know that.
Like dabble.
Dabble. Okay. I thought you said double, like double major.
Oh, Lord, no. Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm tired of music, I'll do visual art.
Yeah.
Like push out a bunch of stuff that doesn't involve sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I get some more sound ideas.
Yeah.
Right back.
I hear you. Well, that's super cool. And you've got some gigs coming up. Tell everybody about your band projects that you have going on, because you're always doing something and something really cool.
Yeah, so the thing about trombone is I don't have a solo trombone act. It's always me playing with the band or recording.
Yeah.
Somebody.
You're like me. You accompany others.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct. So the band that I'm playing most often with right now is Billy Goat Strut Review. We've been together for a while. Goodness. Yeah, isn't it? Does it still have Mark Hamilton in it? Oh yeah,
Lupe, man, I love him.
Most of the original folks are still kicking it.
Yeah, and Lauren, I would love to get her up in the studio.
Yeah, she'd be a great person.
I would love to get Mark up in the studio. They've all done great things, the whole band.
It's funny because everybody in the band we're all like 3 or 5 people just smushed into one, like 3 or 5 businesses just.
Yeah.
Somehow
band
existing
businesses.
through one person. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We all just do what needs to be done. I mean, not only to pay the bills, but like we are good at finding what makes us happy.
Yeah.
So
that's good. And y'all are really good because I've seen you around town.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It comes out in the music. You know, we have a great time, and people have a great time watching us.
Yeah.
I definitely gravitate towards bands that I have fun with.
Well, yeah, of course. Me too. Me too. Yeah. At this point in my career, I'm like, I'm not doing it if I don't enjoy it anymore. You know, and I'm almost to the point where I feel like I just kind of want to give up on the bar scene kind of thing.
I'm
because
moving heavily in that direction.
Yeah, because I mean, I can make if I teach one kid, that's what I've made for a bar gig for 5 hours. Yep. So it's like, it just feels like not a waste of my time, because I know that we're supposed to continue playing, and that's the only way you get better. But for me, I'm just not going to do covers and do something I don't dig. And I feel like I've played almost every bar here multiple times. So at this point, I'm like, I kind of want to graduate from that.
Yeah. Well, you said it. After you've played all the bars, all the stages, all the venues, the festivals, like, okay, what do you do next? Yeah,
exactly. My thing is I'm going to just keep recording solo work, because when we pass, as we've seen lately a lot, when we pass, that's what we have left is our music tracks, and people can always go back and access those.
I'm like that. Isn't that a common quote?
It may be. I don't know.
Our lives continue on through song.
Yeah, and they do. And I've been trying to tell people this for years. That's why I love to produce, and I love to record people.
I forgot to tell you something else I do.
Go for it.
So before I was DJing, I was producing, actually. My own tracks, like chopping apart jazz tracks and making them into dance tracks.
Yeah, I love that.
And then I ended up starting this project called Chicky Nova. I don't get to talk about it that much.
Wait, Chicky Nova?
Yeah.
I love that.
Just spelled with a bunch of letters.
Yeah.
I would get my friends to so it was my way to like have a female produced project, basically, because so many producers are not female.
There's not a lot of us around, that's for sure. And I've met some of the best in the country, I feel like, from Julie Wolfe to everybody else that I've had to work with. Yeah, exactly. In Louisville, though, not so many. There's a few here sprinkled, and I feel like people don't understand why. They always say to me, Jyn, why are you always recording stuff? And I'm like, because,
it's important.
Well, it is important. People don't realize that. Why are you doing originals? Because it's important. People might not like it now, but when you die, they might listen to that and really relate.
Yeah, when you die, they will listen to it, and they'll get a better perspective of who you are. In ways that you can't communicate when you're still alive, unfortunately. Yeah, I've talked
about this with a lot of other artists that have been in on the show, and that's all about the creative aspect of music. When we create, some people say that you might get to know them better through their music, more so than in person. I am kind of almost the opposite. I feel more like, Beyonce says she's Sasha Fierce when she's on stage. Eminem is Slim Shady. I play more of a character when I'm writing, especially lately in my solo stuff. I am playing more of a character than who is really the true me.
No,
I'm
that
saying
makes sense.
things that's very frustrating to me, or saying things to get them out of my body. Maybe things that I can't say in my everyday, or maybe not accepted in everyday, verbiage, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So anyway, people are kind of different in that sense. What's your aspect on that? I mean,
Okay, a couple things.
Sure.
I'm like, goodness gracious, I hate to go right back to grief, but a great way to like move through these more painful things is through music, and like you said, using your voice.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is me switching into music therapy, Allie.
Good. I need that. This is my own therapy session.
Right. I mean, trauma sucks.
Yeah.
Trauma sucks
Trauma
so
does
bad,
suck,
and
man.
like so many times I'm saying we. What I'm really talking about is I.
Yeah.
Shut down the communication, our voices, like, and
I think
re-engaging with that is so important, and like pushing out things that are in you that can't come out regularly. You know? So music is like the way that you do it.
Yeah, music is usually my closure with stuff, because I've always had a hard time with closure, letting things go. People often tell me, oh, you need to let that go, and I hate to hear that. And I always say to them, you don't get to tell me when I let something go, and I don't even get to choose.
Good for you, man.
I don't even get to choose when I let it go. Like, it just happens. It's nothing that can be forced. And there are things that we will never let go in our lives. I feel like losses that we will never let go of,
I'm saying.
or things that people have said to us that just stick with us through our lives, and are traumatic. And I feel like it's not my fault that the trauma was caused, a lot of times.
No, of course not.
But I have to live with it. So,
of course.
Anytime somebody comes up to me and says, oh, you just need to get over that, whether it's something as simple as somebody stole my lunch, or my friend passed.
I lost my friend. Yeah. Goodness.
It doesn't matter. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm affected very strongly from minute things, that, and again, music is my therapy. That's how I get it out. So I love that you're a music therapy. I feel like this is my own therapy session today. I should pay you.
No, this is, an awesome opportunity for me.
Yeah, good.
The person I live with now, Chambers, shout out Chambers.
Hey, Chambers.
We moved in together a few years ago, and eventually started dating, but right before we started dating, we pushed out all these tunes.
Yeah.
Him on vocals, and me using a bunch of the beats that I'd made from that Chikinova project.
Yeah, I love that.
So I had started that project as a way to produce for myself, and then I would interview my friends and cut up the interviews with those beats.
Super cool.
Like sound collaging.
It almost sounds like, sound collaging. I love that.
Yeah.
Or like a De La Soul early on record.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So when I moved in with Chambers, I was like in the thick of that project. I got a bunch of his vocals. We have like 10, 15 tracks.
Yeah.
And then we started dating. Things got complicated. So I'm saying all this to say,
it always gets complicated.
Right. We're back here.
That's why I don't date.
Well, I'm like,
pretty much. Wait. Where's my rim shot? Oh, I know we need that. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah.
So, I say all that to say we're working back around to those tracks now. A project that we're calling Love and Closure. I mean, we're not like in the recording phases at all.
Yeah.
More like in the rehearsal phases. But
it's written.
Yeah, it's written, and like when we look back on these tracks, like it's like I mean, the beats were made when I was closing up something that has nothing to do with him, and his vocals were made exploring something that has nothing to do with me, So when we put the two together,
that happens.
Yeah, it's like what a great. I mean, it really is a great project, and
I
hope that we're able to get it off the ground.
Oh, I hope so too.
I mean, we've been listening to these tracks for the past few years and like talking about them with ourselves, but how to like package it.
Yeah.
And send it out in a way that's not going to hurt anyone.
Well, right, yeah. I try to, I go back and forth with this. I write stuff about people in my everyday life who have hurt me a lot of times. And I try not to think about how are they going to feel when they hear this, because, and here's why.
True.
Well, because it's my art, for one, and two, they can choose to listen or not. And that is and I use this reference often, we can put Earl in the trunk and kill him off in the song. Bob Marley can shoot a sheriff in a song. Right. You know what I'm saying? Slim Shady can rip his mom a new one in a song. and we relate to that. Do you know, if he was worried, or if they were worried about what other people were going to think of that, they would have never released it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
I'm like, here you are coming through with what I need to hear. All right.
It's both. It's a double therapy session. Yeah.
I got you.
I was going to tell you too, going back to the whole, when you create art, you're just, you're taking influence from your everyday life or whatever you pull from your influence. Well, when I did Bougie, which was one of the last ones that I've done from the solo record, and that's going to be on the solo album, I was, one of the guys said to me, you should play your own bougie female. You should be the femme character. I said, okay, that's interesting. Well, at the time, I was going through this heartbreak of this girl who had broken my heart, who is supposedly like engaged to this guy, and I didn't know this, and it was kind of going back and forth, and going back to Sue, my soul sister I just lost, I said, man, it'd be cool. I was telling her about the idea of wearing the of being the bougie female, and I said, gosh, I wish I had a dress or something, because I don't own a dress. And then she goes, I've got a wedding dress. And she went to her room, and she pulls out her wedding dress, and she's like, try this on. And I'm like, really? You want me to try on your wedding dress?
Was that Sue's dress?
That
I saw
was
that
Sue's
picture.
wedding dress that I wore in Bougie.
Gosh.
And it came out of influence of me being heartbroken over some girl who was going to get married, who's supposedly still getting married. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I can't believe that's Sue's dress.
Oh, you said the F word. You know what that means? No, you can say it. You can say it all you want on here. In fact, we have a little change jar around here somewhere that we donate money to. It's the swear jar.
It's great.
And anytime you swear, we're going to put money in it, and then we donate it to charity, so we cuss for a good cause here.
Okay, great.
You got to dig that right.
I've only got one, so that's not bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. We've had people dropping 20s and, 50s up in here before on the air. So, yeah. But anyway, I was just pulling from my everyday life, and boom, out comes a wedding dress. So I was thinking about that last night. I was like, wow, is that weird that I wore her wedding dress in a video? But it was per her request. So
yeah, no, it's not weird. It's great.
Yeah, it fit perfect, too.
I'm going to have to go scroll your Facebook page and find that picture.
It's on my YouTube.
Okay.
It's Bougie.
Okay.
If you type in Bougie, literally it comes up Bougie Jyn Yates. I think it's hilarious.
Great.
Because I'm like the least bougiest person, really. I mean, not really. I like nice things, but I'm pretty, what I consider more Kentucky simple, which is just real basic.
We can be low maintenance here.
Yeah.
I'm like, high key, low maintenance.
High key, low maintenance. Yeah, I like that. I like attention,
Of course.
What girl doesn't love attention? Yeah. So anyway, Allison, so cool to have you up in our studio. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about Billy Goat Review.
Yeah.
Or Billy Goat Strut Review.
Correct.
Billy Goat Strut Review.
You got it.
Did you all name that after the Billy Goat alleyway that's down here?
We did.
You did.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that every time I pass that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where you got your name.
Mark had gone to New Orleans prior to forming the band.
Yeah.
And Mark Hamilton,
We
guitar
love
player.
Mark Hamilton.
Yeah.
Lupe. Yeah.
He kind of pulled us together. We didn't know each other. Mark's the only person that I knew.
Yeah.
And then he asked if I knew another horn player that I could play with.
Yeah.
So I invited my friend Zach Driscoll,
Yeah.
who's no longer playing with the band, but he's definitely an influencing character.
Yeah.
So we played our first show. So here, a little backstory.
Sure.
Bridget Kalin was the original front singer.
I did not know that.
We played one show with her at the Old Monkey Wrench, a daytime show.
Shout out to Denny. We
Yeah,
love him.
of course. Yeah, I'm like, this is all shout outs this hour.
I know we know literally everybody in town. I mean, between you and me, I think we know a lot of people here.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we played like a couple dinner sets.
Yeah.
But then Bridget moved away to go to Ireland with her husband right after that, and she recommended Laura. So.
And Laura's cool. I got to play. We had Michael Drury in from Pandora Productions.
Yeah, I love Michael.
I did a fundraiser for them last Christmas, I think it was, and Laura was in, and that's the first time I actually really ever met her and got to hear her sing, and she was fantastic.
Yeah, she's great
and super fun. Yeah.
Another multifaceted person.
Very. I'd love to get her on our show, so you need to hook that up.
Okay, it's done. So we played a show with her in late 2011, and then 2012 really was when we,
like
were
kicked it
booking.
in. Yeah. Because y'all are booked everywhere now. I see you playing all the time.
We went through a thing with the Kentucky Bourbon Association, getting a lot of like festivals and conferences and like late night events.
Cool.
and then after that, weddings and like street festivals.
Yeah,
like,
all the cool events.
Yeah, gone around. We've done New Year's Eve. We played New Year's Eve at Headliners one year. We played Mercury Ballroom.
Well, my New Year's Eves are historically horrible.
Oh, man.
I'm usually getting thrown out of somewhere completely sober, sad.
Man.
Just it's one thing after another.
The past few years, I've been like, no thanks on New Year's Eve. Kind of the same thing.
Like, I kind of did that last New Year's Eve. I actually got to play last New Year's Eve in Indiana with a band called Magic Jack, and it was one of my best solos ever. But man, I was in a lot of pain. I still am from my nerve damage going down to my arm. It's just been, man, one hit after another,
the
literally.
Ups and downs, man.
Yeah, all the ups and downs from the past year. Although we move out of Mercury retrograde today, and they say it's going to slingshot us into complete new things. So we're going to hope that's true.
I can dig it. Well, with everything we're talking about here on the show, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So back to how you got your name. It's from the alley. That's so.
Yep.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
And then we were doing a lot of gigs like down on Nulu, your Decas and stuff like that. And so yeah, it just stuck. People, I mean, we dress up. And
I know, that's why I love you all.
Get into character, so that's our character thing. That's what, I don't really have to do.
It's
anything
almost like a 40s look, a 40s look.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. I don't really have to get into much character with a trombone.
Yeah,
just stand there with it.
Man, I was going to ask you some questions about the trombone, just because I don't know a lot about the trombone, but I've always appreciated it. I guess, turned you on to playing the trombone? Why did you start with trombone?
Oh, God.
Because it's so rare to see a female trombonist, which I think is awesome.
So, this is so basic. I had an uncle who dated a woman whose son played trombone.
Okay.
And I just liked him. They were over at our house all the time. And he brought that trombone over once or twice and let me play it. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Oh, maybe 10 or 9.
9 or 10, yeah.
So
10 or 9.
I started taking piano lessons when I was 7.
Okay.
So, I've been a music nerd. Like, I can't deny it.
I know.
And then I saw that thing, and it was
trombones are so cool. They can make some of the coolest sounds.
Yeah, it's a great instrument. I mean, it's not very easy. You sound bad for a very long time, but, stuck with it.
Yeah. I always thought it was fascinating how you can know, like, how far to extend your arm out for things like, how do you even know keys and stuff?
Right.
Yeah, that's always fascinating. You've got to remember the positions.
It's crazy. It's a lot like a guitar.
Yeah.
With the partials being the strings. But it all happens inside the mouthpiece.
But you don't have the notes to let you cheat. Or the little dots. I mean,
you learn one note at a time.
Right. Because on the fretboard, you have the dots, and that tells you kind of where you are.
Yeah, it's more like pressure, air, like what's it feel like?
Yeah.
And if you think you're there and the note's not coming out, it might be your arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Like tuning.
Yeah.
So it's a very intuitive instrument.
Yeah. I would think that kind of sets apart trombone from other instruments, you know what I mean? It's so different to me. But so important to the horn line.
Yeah, I know. I can't do without I can't do without trombone.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing a solo project? I mean,
Yeah. I think for Love and Closure, I'm going to end up rewriting all the music.
Cool.
And just do, so keep some of the same drum beats, but make trombone pads, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to work with you on that, because I know we do a lot of cool stuff. We've done a lot of cool stuff over the years. Some of my favorite little videos are with you in it. I know, bopping around in my house. Yeah, acting all like a full double DJ and all kinds of cool stuff. We did this thing a while back where we were trying to like mix drums, electronic drums, and the DJ, because Allison does vinyl turntables. You'll love it. We've got a turntable here, and we actually spin some wax every now and a blue moon. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I asked you earlier what kind of what kind of rock and roll you liked, and educated you a little bit on LRS and the history, and you said pretty much everything I like.
80s, 90s,
80s and 90s rock and rolls. So we're going to kick it off with some of that.
Awesome.
It's Nirvana. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation. I am Jyn Yates. Allison Cross
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, is our guest today. Stay tuned. You're locked on to LRS102.com. That's Lola by the Kinks here on LRS102.com. I played that in honor of Kinks musician Ian Gibbons. He passed away at the age of 67 and was the keyboardist for the Brit Rock group on and off for almost 20 plus years. So anyway, I also want to remind you all that LRS102.com presents McSabbath and Oakley Dokley live at Zanzibar. That's Sunday, August 4th. McDonald's. It's McDonald's meets Black Sabbath. Have you heard of them?
No.
Mac Sabbath.
Mac Sabbath.
Yeah, they play Black Sabbath covers, but they dress up like Ronald McDonald, like McDonald stars. Yeah, you probably have. Yeah. And they wear some green sweaters and glasses and like kind of a Ned Flanders want to be warming up the crowd in a far out musical performance. You must experience it to believe it. And you can listen to LRS102.com for your chance to win free tickets. That's this coming Sunday at Zanzibar. That's going to be an interesting thing. You know, everybody has their shtick, I guess, you know, and if you want to dress up like McDonald's characters and sing Black Sabbath, go for it, man.
I'll listen. I'll definitely watch and listen.
Oh, I would definitely watch because I'm like, you know, that just sounds hilarious to me. So, Allison, I also forgot to mention that you are also involved in Girls Rock Louisville.
Yep. Shout out Girls Rock. I love y'all.
Yeah. GRL, man. Girls Rock Louisville. Yeah. And we just raised a bunch of money for them. We're going to actually present them with the check next week. For the She Castle event, part of the proceeds are going to that. We're splitting it down the middle with both charity organizations, so that was super cool. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about your involvement there.
Yeah, it's like all the stuff we've mentioned, all of it works together like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. And you know, you got your health piece, you got your studio piece, you got your bar piece, the events, the wedding. Okay, so this is like the kids outreach.
Yeah.
GRL provides camp, after-school programming, instrument instruction for femmes and gender non-conforming youth.
Yay, we love those types because I was one of those as well.
Right. Well, you know, the big thing that I feel like I've benefited from is how language is developed in that circle. Mm-hmm. You know.
I talk a lot about how masculine our language is today, and that's why a lot of times, the title of this solo record is Herstory instead of History. Yeah. I always say it's Herstory if a girl does it, and the one before Hillbilly Swagger was Welcome to the Queendom, not Kingdom.
That's the one I have. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I'm always trying to do a twist musically on our verbiage.
You know, it's like if you don't pay attention to it, then it comes across as being like, oh yeah, whatever, like easy to pass upon. But then when you realize, like, oh yeah, you know, okay, for example, when I'm around women that have gone to Girls Rock, something I notice is that they apologize all the time.
Yeah.
And something we do at Girls Rock is say don't
apologize.
Don't apologize.
Right.
Stop apologizing. And so at this point, you know, I went to Girls Rock in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. I've done a couple after-school things.
Yeah.
Like, I did Ladies Rock. I'm not apologizing for really anything at this point.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You've done your charity work, man. You know what I'm saying? Or chick. I shouldn't even say man. I call people man all the time.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's kind of out of my vocabulary just through going in that space. And there's a lot of things that we're developing a language around, you know, how to work with children who are not white. And take down some of the things that adults say to them.
Yeah.
How to address people that have disabilities and like form a language around that. So I really, really like Girls Rock because they're doing a formative, you know, piece of work that a lot of places are not going to do. Like, you're not going to see the church take down their religion and build it back up. Right. I mean, take down their language and build it back up.
Right.
You're not going to see that like in politics and like you're not going to see it in schools. See people deliberately like supporting each other and developing different language. Yeah. And like I love that Girls Rock is doing that.
Good for you all.
Louisville's
I wish I had my hand clap. I have laughter, but I don't have hand clap. Yeah.
So Louisville's a great place because, you know, Girls Rock is international at this point. And the folks that are doing the work in Louisville are also going to the conferences and spreading out the material that we use. Yeah. You know, through things like, of course, Facebook. We network with other
social
camps,
media.
and share these materials that we're developing. So it's you know, what we hear is that not all girls rock camps are doing that work with the language. So to be able to like stay ahead of what the trend is, stay out of some of these power conflicts that are going on, staying out of these messy racial and gender conflicts that are going on is so important, because we move through it and then we put out the materials and then we share the materials. And hopefully other camps can like
take a cue from that.
You know, it
I
sucks
agree.
that we're all out here on our
that's
own,
why
but
I talk very openly about my gender conflicts, you know, growing up as a kid, and still have them, you know, and just
we all do.
There wasn't anybody around me to talk to me about things like that, you know, and I just had to kind of figure it out myself. And even when I came to Louisville at 21, I was still going through it all, you know. So it was like, kudos to you all for having that conversation.
Man, kudos to the whole group, honestly.
Yeah, the whole group is amazing.
It's a group effort.
Yeah, of course. And there are other girls rock things around the country. I've noticed, like there's a girls rock Birmingham, there's a girls rock, you know, Atlanta, or
Whitesburg, Kentucky just started one this year.
Really?
I think Cincinnati has one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Whitesburg, Kentucky.
Yeah,
I've played there.
Exactly.
I've played there. It's a little do.
They have girls rock.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for them.
Super neat.
Yeah, I just noticed too, like the fairness ordinance is starting to pass. You know, Paducah passed it.
Yep, I saw that.
It was up in Somerset. I don't know if it passed or not though. But it's you know, the conversation, the more we talk about it, and I take some flack sometimes for what I say, but at the same time I'm just very open and honest about everything. I really am, and how I feel, and you know, I don't mean to hurt any feelings, but that's just, you know, I think we need to have an open conversation about things. And if nobody will bring it up, then you can't ever have that conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's really sad. So good for you with your work with Girls Rock Louisville, and I'm really glad that they were tied into the She Castle, because we did raise some dough for them, and I'm really excited to get to present them their check.
Yeah, it goes to a great place.
It does, yeah. And I love that most of the women there, I mean, it's mostly women that are leading this.
There's quite a few non-gender conforming folks. I think we've started to use the term femme. Yeah. Lots of femmes.
Sure.
And, so, yeah.
Femmes, I love that. What's the opposite of that, I guess? A butch? Would you use that word? Because sometimes I feel like the word butch can be derogatory.
Yeah. I think I've tended to take offense when that term is used towards me.
Yeah.
I understand where it comes from.
I got it the other night. You'll love this one. I got some guy told me that I was, excuse me, some guy literally told me, he goes, I think you're about the butchest female I've ever met. That's what he said to me. And I was like, then you've obviously not met some of my soul sisters, because I'm totally not.
Right.
But when I was dating, I would always get, you're not femme enough or you're not butch enough. And that drove me crazy. I'm like, then what am I?
I've heard both of those, definitely.
Yeah,
I've
it's very annoying.
Been told a lot what my preferences are. I'm like, that's funny that you know that, because I did never hear you ask.
Right. Or you didn't ask me. Yeah. I love that you just assumed that's what I liked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I get it sometimes from men too. And I don't know if it's a threatening thing. I can't figure it out. I've been really trying to figure it out, but you know, I think that they tend to use it sometimes for derogatory term, like, oh, you're so butch or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? That I'm more masculine than you?
Here comes another F-bomb.
Right. Do it.
I know that you don't want to fuck. You don't have to call me a dyke.
No kidding. No kidding.
Just to make it clear.
I don't like that term either.
I don't either.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
I really loathe all those terms because of the way that they're used towards me, not because they exist, but the way that people...
Yeah, it's the context.
Yeah. The way that people walk up and start a conversation with those terms is absolutely not okay.
Yeah.
So the reason that Girls Rock is doing this work is because people say that shit to children.
Oh, I know they do.
You know?
I've seen them.
Like, that's not okay.
And that's right when I will be like, hold up. You know, I'm pretty mouthy when I see something that I don't really appreciate or I think is not good.
Something that a couple ideas that we've tossed around, and hopefully in the future we may be able to approach. A Girls Rock camp for boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Boys Rock camp. Same educational material, but only for boys. I think they need it.
Yeah, I think if you have one, why not have the other?
I feel sorry for boys. Let me put it that way. Like, they need help with their language.
Yeah, very much so.
I'm like, it's
Even
not
these-
getting taken care of.
Yeah, the 20-year-olds out there that I'm seeing today.
y'all are trash. Sorry.
Horrible.
I'm like, learn how to talk to young women.
Yeah.
You might
Exactly.
be able to get more ass.
And yeah, no kidding. I don't really think that's a cuss word, but we're gonna like laugh.
All right.
But no, I agree with you. And the way that I have been spoken to by men, I mean, even as of recently, I get it almost on a monthly basis. If you wonder why I'm happy I am the way I am, it's because of that. And and sometimes I get some of the most inappropriate things said to me, and I'm just like, are you serious?
Where did you come from?
I am not the one. I am not the one that you need to say
so
something like that to.
Circling back around to our earlier conversation about why is it important to be producing and recording, and
yes,
I'm like, because we're in 2000, approaching 2020.
2020, baby.
And
2020 vision.
We're still talking about the way we're getting talked to on the street.
I know.
Well, it has to happen.
Well, and I'm sure you know this. You're an African American female. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Females, as well as African Americans, didn't even get the right to vote.
Dude, I'm like,
until within the century.
Layers and layers. I'll, in most interviews I do, somehow the question comes up, have you been discriminated against?
Yes.
I'm like, the widespread answer is yes.
Yeah. Do
I focus my work or prop myself up by the discrimination I've experienced? The answer is no.
Yeah.
I draw the two apart.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, the fuck shit goes on, but I'm also very successful.
Yes, you are.
And most of the stuff I've done has been with the help of other people that may or may not still be around, but like...
Yeah. We have a major problem with, men a lot of times. No offense, guys, I love you. I do, because a lot of my best friends are men. But it does seem to be, somebody was talking about domestic terrorism, and I'm like, yeah, most everybody that does, if you look at the statistics, it's white men. Older white men. I'm like, what is going on with the world, man? And I can't even imagine. I came from a small town and was gay, obviously, was very, a different kind of weird character. And I didn't feel accepted. I was made fun of a lot, and I feel like it has made me a fighter. You know what I mean? A fighter in a sense of...
you gotta survive.
Exactly. I had to survive, and there were times that I was almost on the street multiple times, you know what I mean? And almost homeless. That's why I'm so passionate about the homeless thing, because I've been there myself. And it's not a fun place to be in. And, and when you are a fighter, you have to look at the person's past and their trauma. We talk about this a lot because you are a music therapist. But I can't even imagine adding on to it. But being a female is a discriminatory thing already, and then being an LGBTQ female, double discriminatory thing, and I can't even imagine being African American. You know what I'm saying? I hate it all.
Yeah. So
and the question is, how do we fix it?
Intersectionality is the term that's coming up with that. People exist under layers and layers of layers. Like, we can be more than one thing,
Of course we can. Of course we can.
And in a lot of spaces, you have to drop some of those identities to exist there.
Yeah.
And so what we're saying is, like, no, I want to be able to keep all the people that I am together and be able to take all of us with us everywhere.
Exactly.
And finding those spaces where I'm going to be safe is pretty much life's work.
Correct. If you want to know why I'm at show all the time, it's because it's a safe space to me. Yeah. There were other
I'm not
venues.
Get called names and shit.
Yeah, exactly. There were other venues that had me thrown out before I even stepped foot in. It's like, that's not a safe space to me. Those people are not safe place to me. I like to be in a safe space and a safe place with people surrounding me that I'm comfortable with. And as soon as I'm out of my comfort zone, that's where my PTSD kicks in, and I want to, I'm a fighter.
All of a sudden, I'm getting called rude and a bitch. I'm like, well, there's probably something going on.
Yeah, exactly.
This reminds me of the Spinsters Union.
Yeah.
Femme DJ collective I'm a part of.
I
don't think that we've mentioned these folks. Okay, Kim Cerise, Sarah Alice are the founders.
Love it.
We've been around for about a year and a half. The Spinsters was started as a way to, like, get some of the leverage and publicity and get some of these bigger gigs that just get taken up by dude DJs.
Which there's a ton of.
So,
by the way, shout out though, because the Louisville has a bunch of awesome female DJs.
man, Louisville rocks with female DJs.
Heck yeah, one of them sitting right here in the booth at LRS.
Like 2 of them are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I guess you can consider me a DJ.
You're definitely a DJ.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Go Kim Cerise. We love that.
I mean, awesome group. Awesome, like.
Do you guys
support.
just like you said, you're trying to get some of the bigger corporate gigs that mostly men get, but how does that work exactly?
Well, also, like, it has to go within the venues. Venues need to be safe spaces for us. So
I agree.
It's both us
and a
being
lot
able
of
to
them are
pull
not.
Yeah, exactly. It's us being able to pull in a different type gig, but also being able to attract different venues to say some of the complaints that you've dealt with in the past, you're not going to have to deal with it.
Correct. Yeah, I got that.
To put it lightly.
Yeah.
We have been we've been hosting like tech nights.
Yeah.
To
yeah, where can people
share.
find you DJing and stuff like that? Where can people find these girls DJing?
So we have a Spinsters Union Facebook page and an Instagram. We've been trying to keep that updated.
Okay. Spinsters Union? Okay, cool. Go check that out, listeners.
Yeah.
Spinsters Union on Facebook.
Yep, Spinsters Union of Louisville.
Spinsters Union of Louisville. Oh, we got some... We broadcast right here live from Broadway, so we see all kinds of stuff. There's been people who just walk in and ask for a job on air. Oh, yeah. Usually on a daily, somebody will kind of walk by and kind of look in or whatever. So, Allison, also, just because I don't want to run out of time, tell everybody where they can also, they can find you DJing. Are you DJing anywhere consistent every night somewhere? Yeah.
You're kind of catching me on the tail end. I've been at O'Shea's on Baxter all summer.
Okay, cool. Congrats on that, because I love me some O'Shea's.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. They've been great to me. We've been doing a Thursday night thing, but I don't think it picked up the way that it needs to. So I think they're about to phase it out.
Okay.
And just do live bands on Thursday, like
cool.
continue with live bands. Yeah. I don't have any steady DJ work coming up. Yeah. I have a bunch of weddings, actually.
Cool.
This is the first year I'm super
great.
booked out with weddings.
Good.
So most of my weekends are like...
To me, as a band or as a DJ, I mean, weddings are some of the best gigs you can get. You get fed good. Everybody's in a good mood.
They've been growing on me.
Yeah.
I entered the game a little bit like, what's this about? And now I'm like, okay. I'm definitely reapproaching my pessimism about the ceremony of marriage and accepting that can be,
me too. I'm kind of down on marriage, but I think it's kind of it's a farce to me.
We've done a lot of really beautiful, like, same-sex marriages.
That's cool. I'm all about the commitment, though. I'm all about the commitment ceremony. I just don't like the government. And I've stood next to being a gay female. I've stood next to someone who's been married 5 times, and then they're trying to tell me I'm not supposed to get married once. And that just annoys me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, so you're privileged to do it 5 times, but I just got the right in 2014.
Yeah, and I can't do it at all.
I
really love the family coming together. I love seeing.
I love that too.
Like. All the friends from high
But
school.
when you've already done it once, and then you're doing it a second time, and then a third time, and then it's for the wrong reasons.
First time family weddings are the bomb.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'm kind of like you are on the wedding thing. Like, I'm all about the commitment. I would do the ring and a ceremony, and and do all that. And I like monogamy. I'm a big fan of that. Which seems to be non-existent for anybody 30 and under.
Yeah. I'm saying
it is. It's so weird. The whole dating scene is very interesting these days.
Highly individual.
Highly individual. Yeah, very highly individual. And not down in marriage. I think marriage is awesome, but if you're doing it the second time and it's for the wrong reasons, and I don't know. I just have my own take on it. I will say through my own personal experiences.
I'm like, shout out to that sweet like life cycles we've been talking about the whole time.
Yep.
Like, some people are on that.
I put on a wedding dress and married myself in a video.
Some people are in it for the right thing. Some people are not.
Yeah. Well, when it starts, and this is what my therapist says, when it starts not clean, it's never going to be clean. It's probably going to end the way it started.
Yeah.
And that's true. And I've seen that be truthful in my relationship. So if you start, say, for example, you're starting a marriage out via cheating, that's not a right reason to get married. You know what I mean? And no matter what you do can wash that away. Once it's actually happened, you can pray all you want, but it ain't going away. It actually happened. You know what I'm saying? So, if you go into it thinking that that's going to work, eventually via therapy, via karma, via the universe. It's not. You know, I hate to tell you that, but it's got to start clean, or it will never be clean. And I do believe that about every relationship across the board, whether it be a friendship or a marriage or, you know, or any other kind of relationships that we have.
Yeah. Well, that's such a strong thing that you're saying, because as musicians, we meet people like, you know, swapping the energy on stage, like,
right.
So, you know, the choice to keep it there,
Yeah.
and the choice to decide who you make music with and share those like
Intimate
bonds,
moments.
yeah, it's so I value it so much more as I'm getting older. Like, man,
Me too.
I've definitely done all the hedonistic shit I wanted to.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting to a place where I can consider the spiritual outcomes is a great place to be.
Yeah.
I enjoy being here.
I agree. I enjoy being here, and it's tough as you get older, especially as a female. I feel like because our libidos get much stronger as we age.
Right.
It does. It does. It's the truth. I mean, we hit our peak in
It's
our
so
40s,
true,
so I'm
man.
like peak out, and I've always felt like I was almost a straight man on an inside of a female body. So I'm just like all the time, but you got to keep it locked down. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard, very hard. Yeah. I don't even know how to flirt these days. I don't even know what flirting is. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even understand any of it. I just feel like I'm so clueless when it comes to relationships on that level. You know what I mean?
I've been in relationships for a while. I cannot say that I would want to date. Like, for me, I'm usually either in a relationship or I'm single.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm quite enjoying being single. I really do love being single. I've always enjoyed doing my own thing and being super independent. And I feel like when you're by yourself and you're analyzing other people's relationships, you see how codependent people are. And codependency to me is super a turnoff, big time. I don't like any female, and it's just from my own personal perspective, you know. I totally get you want somebody to be there for you and help you through life and all that. I get that. I want that too. But at the same time, if you're so codependent that you can't even drive your car to work when it's snowing outside, or you can't put gas in your car because you're so bougie, you're used to some dude doing it, like, that is a turnoff to
I can't be your husband.
No, exactly. I'll never be your husband, you know. But at the same time, I enjoy doing that for other people. I enjoy, like, giving. I'm a giver, and I'm also a physical toucher. I really enjoy physical touch. For me to be able to feel like I am loved, I need some sort of physical something, some kind of hug, some kind of something, you know. And if that's not there, I just feel like, you know, that I don't know. I think we all have different outlooks on it. It's so interesting. So I know we've taken a therapy turn.
No,
I always
it's okay.
do with you. I love it.
Dude, I can't help it.
Friday,
It's my fault.
getting it started. I know. So Allison, because we only have you for a little bit longer, tell us, where can we see Billy Goat Strut Review?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So actually tonight, the Goats are going to be down at Jimmy Can't Dance.
All right, the
9:30
Goats.
12:30.
All right, Jimmy Can't Dance, 9:30 to 12:30. All right.
I'm gonna-
Where is that venue? It's down on Main Street.
119 South 7th Street.
119 South 7th Street. All right.
I've been making flyers.
Okay, cool. So you know it by heart.
And then tomorrow night, I'm hitting with this brass band, Hot
Okay.
Sauce Brass Band. So
What's the name of it again?
Hot Sauce Brass Band.
Hot Sauce Brass Band. Right
Yeah,
on.
just
I love me some hot
horn
sauce.
kids. Yeah.
All right.
Doing what we do best. Play
Yeah.
horns.
Man, I tell you what, next year for She Castle, I'm going to put you in charge of the horn section.
I'm on it.
Because I was like, man, if we get a bigger stage, I put Allison in charge of getting a horn section, all female horn section.
Yeah, that'll be
we'd
dope.
kill it. Yeah.
I'm like, come to next year's She Castle, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to be bigger and better. We're already starting to raise money for it, and it's going to be an annual thing. And pretty much the first female women's music festival here in the state.
It needs to happen.
Yeah, it's happening.
So tomorrow night, Hot Sauce Brass Band, also at Jimmy Can't Dance.
Jimmy Can't Dance. Again, is it same hours?
Basically 9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Same.
All right, that's awesome. And then you're going to still be DJing around town. Look for DJ Alley.
Yeah.
And then also you do a lot of theater stuff on top of that, too. Have you been doing any of that lately?
I've got Pippin coming up this month.
Oh, Pippin. Cool.
Yeah, with Remy's group.
Yeah, cool.
And I think they're called Acting
Against Cancer.
Yeah.
I did some work with them. I did rent with them once.
Yeah, okay.
In some abandoned warehouse down in Portland. Yeah. Or it was the Faulkner Gallery.
Oh.
I think, right before it's not.
Warehouse.
I know. I was like, some warehouse somewhere down. Well, that was the whole point, is that rent is kind of in a warehouse.
Yes.
And they wanted a warehouse kind of setting. Right. So, yeah, that's why they put it down there. But I always love to get to play down there because, you know, I like to spread the love and play all over Louisville. Yeah.
So Pippin's at Art Sanctuary. Starts in 2 weeks. I
Art
believe.
Sanctuary, very cool. I love that place. That's a great venue.
Yeah.
It's a great venue for us to look at She Castle next year too.
Noted.
Yeah, noted. Yeah. So anyway, Allison, is there anything else you want our listeners to know? It's been awesome having you in on the show today.
I can't think of anything right now, but
Yeah.
if I do, I'll come back for another episode.
Good luck with that production that you said that you were a part of, that you're working on right now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime. And if you need help, I'm always here.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Love you, Jen.
I love you too, Allison. And we are going to continue Jyneration Nation rolling. We got some Guns N' Roses because you said you wanted to hear some Guns N' Roses.
Yes, please.
Yeah. It's Sweet Child of Mine from Appetite for Destruction. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation. Stay tuned.